Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to our last in our Joy of Christmas collaboration series. We've done one video every Saturday in the month of July, me and Melody Lane, who I really hope you have gone and watched her channel. She does amazing Cricut projects, so much better than me. So please go check her out. Make sure you subscribe. I've really enjoyed this month collabing with her. So I want to make a card. I had one come into my head and I thought this would be really cute. I have not even started to design it. So I thought we would do that together. I think that's how you guys learn. So you're probably going to see me make mistakes and like flub around a little bit, but you know what? This is how you learn, okay? So all I've done is open Cricut Design Space and I'm signed in. As you can see my name here at the top. Let's click New Project. Now, the first thing I like to do, and a lot of this is just for you guys, I like to go between the double zeros here in the top on the rulers, click that to get rid of the grid, and then I like to come down to the blank canvas, and then go up top and change the color of that. That's just so you guys can see what I'm doing easier, and that green seems to be pretty easy on your eyes. All right, the first thing I need to do is bring in a shape. What is this shape? I'm going to be making a card. So what I need to do is decide the size of my card, and I also need to decide how many layers I want on my card. I'm thinking I could do a slim line. Do I want to do a slim line? No. We're going to stick to, let's do an A2. Let's do an A2. So that means I'm going to go right here and unlock proportions, and then I'm going to head up to the top, and I want mine to be landscape. I want my card to be landscape. So I'm going to make it 5.5 wide. Nope, I take that back. See, this is where you get to learn with me. I want this to be the first mat. I want the card base to be a piece that I cut separately. I want this to be the first mat. So I want it to be 5.25 wide. And then I want it to be 4 tall. So let's clean this out and make it say 4. So this is going to be my card base. So why do I do this? Now anything I design inside here is going to fit. I don't even have to stress about it. I know it's going to work. The next thing I want to do is I want to change the color. I do think I want this to be white. I think that's what I'm going for. When I do the final card, I may change it to like a silver glitter or a metallic, but for now I'm just going to work on white. Now here's my plan. I want to do a word. I either want to do joy or Noel. I cannot decide. And I want the O to either be an ornament or a wreath or something like that. I think this will be pretty. This is not groundbreaking or new, but I think it's a great way to show you how to use stuff in Cricut, so I want to try it. Let's do it with joy. I think joy is the way to go. So let's start with images. So I'm going to go over here to Cricut Images. So in Images, I want to tell you that I am signed into my account, and I do have the subscription. So whatever I pull up, I will probably have access to a lot of it. So let's start typing. Let's look up Christmas wreath. Let's go like that. And now I want something layered. I want to work with layers. I want something kind of, I don't know, kind of traditional. This is where I say it in every video. This is where I spend all day. Ooh, this is really cute. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click this one. And when I do, it puts it right down here in the bottom. It's kind of, I call this my shopping cart area. So if I like it, I click it. It just sits it right here for me so I can keep looking. So I'm going to look at some other ones and see if I like some other ones even better. I could. You never know. This is super cute. Really like this. Got an idea for that. Let's add that one in. And then, oh, love this one. So I'm looking for something with pieces and parts that we can assemble. I think that'll be fun. I haven't done that with the joy, so I thought that'd be fun to do. Isn't that cute? Oh, my cursor stopped. Isn't that cute right there? All right, let me look. We'll move on. Okay, so I've pulled 4 wreaths I think I can work with. While we're here, let's look at ornaments because you might even like that. Anything can go between the J and the Y. You can even do a nativity scene, but let's do ornament and see. Maybe we want to make a couple of cards while we're at it. A lot of you guys like that. You like to make more than one card at a time. So we can look at these guys. Ooh, we could just draw it on. That would be cool. I don't want to draw today. I want to play with layers. I'm feeling it. I want to play with little pieces of paper and glue things together. It's just what I want to do today. All right, I'll find some ornaments and then we'll move forward. So I clicked Insert Images and now I'm just waiting for all of them to insert. And I picked a bunch. I picked like, I think 7 or so. So look, we have a mess here to look at. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click off the screen anywhere. Okay, just like this. Then I'm just going to start grabbing these guys and pulling them over. And this is where I'm going to decide what I really want to use and what I don't. So I'm going to pull these guys this way and then put these wreaths like so. Didn't get as many wreaths as I thought. I really like that one, but I really like this one too. This one has a lot of parts. Let me show you how you know. Come over here. See in the layers panel? Wow, that's a lot of parts. Okay, so it starts here. and it's all of these little tiny parts. I'm not looking for that today. So you know what we're going to do? We're not going to use that one. I could do some work and make it work, but I don't want to do all the work. I like the look of this one. I like how it lays out. I think we could do something with that. This one is not exactly, I don't like it as much here as I did in the other one, so I'm going to get rid of that one. I actually really like this. I think I could do a lot with this one, so I'm not going to get rid of this one just yet. Now for the ornaments, this one I can already tell now that it's here, I'm not a big fan of the hook, so let's get rid of that one. Love this. I love this black and white with the bow. The bow's not my favorite bow I've ever seen, but I do like the black and white. But I really brought this one over for this one. I think this is super cute. So I think what we'll do is get rid of this one, and we're going to use this one. All right, so here's what I got to decide. Let's shrink this guy down. When I shrink this guy, I may not like him as much because do you see how kind of small he gets there? Let's bring a J and a Y over. So let's go text, and let's type in J. And I tell you what, let's bring it down here, and let's go up here and see what we can find. That'll be a nice, thick, chunky J. Something dressy, something thick. And I'm looking to cut this letter out, so I'm not looking for something thin or frilly or anything. I want this to have a little meat to it. So let's check this J and see what it looks like. Too much meat. Let's go back. This is another place I can look for fonts all day long. So let me look. When I find the one, we'll get back together. While I'm looking, just so you know, you can totally go get fonts and bring in and use your own fonts. I just typically use either what's in here, unless I'm doing a specific project, because there's so many to choose from, I usually find what I'm looking for. Okay, I found it. I like this one. It's called Metropolis is the name of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this guy up here, and I'm going to size, well, I'm not going to size him yet. Let's duplicate him and turn him into a Y, so we can get our other letters. So let's click that guy, backspace, type Y. So now I've got my Y here. So now I can size everything up together. So let me get this guy as tall as that wreath. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it to get it there. So that's really big. Don't stress about that just yet. I just want it to be as tall as the wreath. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same with this guy. But what I'm going to do is make it as tall as the Y. And this is how I do it. I just lay them over each other and kind of stretch till they're about the same. And that feels pretty good. Now I'll move it back. So J, O, and Y. Look how cute that is, right? And I love how that fills up. Now I feel like that Y looks massive, so I'm going to shrink him a little. Even if he's not going to be exactly the same size as the other, for my eye, he was too big. Now, I don't love the Y as much as I thought I would. I'm going to try something. And I do not always recommend this, but sometimes with fonts you can do it. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to shrink it in a little bit. Sometimes this works. See how that just feels a little more like this one? You can't always do that because you don't want to skew a font. But to me, that didn't really skew that. It really made those guys match better. I kind of like that. Now, let me see something. Do I like this wreath? Or do I like this guy? And I tell you what I'll do. Let's shrink it down. And notice it has all these layers. Let's go over here and look in the layers panel. I'm not a big fan of this gray background, so let me close the eye off on that. I kind of like this better. I think this is very simple. Let's bring this over. Oh, doesn't that look better? I like that. All right, that tells me I don't want this wreath. It was too chubby, but I really like this one. And this gives me all those little leaves to place. I think, no, it's even better, guys. Look, okay, let me do this. I'm going to duplicate it so I can show you why this is even better. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to ungroup it so I can pull all these pieces out. See, we're going to cut this one time and lay it over this to get all those leaves. That's even better. We love that. Okay, let's get rid of these guys. Now, what's really cool is, let's say I don't love this bow, which I kind of don't. Let's ungroup it. Let's go over here and let's just turn the eye off on that bow. That does leave it for me here in the bottom of the wreath, but I'll show you a little trick. Let's bring this out like this. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Oop, maybe zoom in, not out. Okay, let's bring this down. Zoom a little bit more. Okay, now you could contour this, but let me tell you why contour won't work. Let's go to contour really quick. If I were to contour out these ribbon pieces, it's actually going to contour out this outer line, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is do my little trick with my fake scissors. So watch this. I'm going to come to shapes, and I'm going to grab a circle. Now this circle is going to go right underneath here, and I'm going to shrink it down until it covers those ribbons. Now, something you'll see is it's not a perfect match right here where they come together. We can make this more of an oval shape by unlocking it and bringing it in some, and we can kind of sneak it up in there just like that. And now what we can do is slice these two apart, and it will just give us that little wreath. See that? We'll delete what we don't need here, all that stuff we cut. Now this guy will still work on here just fine. We'll put him like so, and I will send him to the front because he's in the back now. See? So we're still good. Looks like I got a little bit off down here, but you know what? We're not going to stress about this because we're going to cover it. We're going to put a bow there. I'm going to go get a bow I actually like. So let's go to images. Did I resize this? Is that why I did that? Or was it already laying that way? Let me see if I resized it. I might have stretched him out some. Yeah, I think I messed with the sizing when I blew the screen up. So don't do that. Don't separate them from each other unless you have to. All right, so let's move that back. I told you I'd probably mess this thing up. We're going to leave it like this. No, you know what that is? That's the tops of the ribbon, isn't it? Yep, so don't worry about it. We're going to cover it up. I did all that work for nothing. Okay, so we're going to add our own bow right here. So let's head to images. All right, I've typed in bow already, and I want to look for something. Originally, I wanted to use this guy, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep looking. I want to see if I can find something that does what I want. Because, you know, I told you I wanted to work in layers today. So let's just see what we can find. I don't love that with the stripiness. All right, I'll find what we want and we'll get back together. Oh, look, done. There it is right there. It's so cute. All right, what do we love about it? First off, it looks Christmassy. And second off, look at the layers. You can see them up here. See all the layers? All right, let's shrink this down. I think I'm going to change the colors too. I think I'm going to, let's ungroup this guy. And I'm going to click on the basic cut and change that to black. Just go with me. And then I'm going to click on this one, the pink part, and change it to red. All right, and now I'm going to group these back together so I can play with those more. All right, let's shrink it down. Now, in real life, I can put any paper on it I want. Look how good that looks. I don't have to just use that. I can use any paper I want. It doesn't have to be red and black. We can do that later. I love how that looks. I think that's great. All right. Now, I like the way my joy, I like all this is lined up. I'm going to hit the J real quick, and I'm also going to select this Y. And at the top of the page where it says align, I want to make sure they're aligned at the top. And they are. Now they're matched up, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to select all of this without getting this piece in the back. So I need to click on the J. I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard, click on these pieces. I want to make sure I get both pieces. I did not get the background piece. Let me keep trying until I get it. All right, if you can't do it that way, just come over here and click on it in the layer. That'll do it. I'll do the same thing here. I'll click the bow, and then I'll click the Y. I'll just do it in the layers. All right, now what I want to do is I want to resize all of these guys, okay? So let's group this together since I know that's how I want it to look. I'm going to bring it up here, and what I want to do is I want to make it fit this piece as big as I can. I want to take up all that real estate. I think that'll be so pretty on a card. All right. Let me move him over a little bit and see if I still like it. Let's just center it on here. Let's do this. Let's go to, oh, it won't let me. There it goes. Align. And let's do center, center, and see what we get. Center, this one, center, center. Oh, it's a little high on the page for me, but I do like where it's located. So let's just air it down. Remember, I'm going to be placing this myself. Okay, we're going to do this in a minute. We're going to place this off screen, but I just want to be able to look at it. All right, let's play with these colors. If you wanted to design now, just go up here and ungroup and say you wanted to make these gold. You could come up here and find either gold or the closest thing to gold, or you could do advanced and get gold. You could do anything you want like that if you want them to be gold. I'm not sure the colors I'm going to do. I'm going to pick my colors off camera. Oh, the black looks good, doesn't it? Let's do the other one in black. But I'm going to pick my colors off camera and bring all this together. Okay, now that we've got this like we want it, I'm going to go over to the layers panel, and I'm going to click on each of these layers. And I'm going to group them together so I can move that guy out of there. I know it's the size I want because now we want to do the ornament. Now, I'm going to choose a different ornament than I brought in here, and I'll tell you why. I looked at it, and it wasn't an easy cleanup, and rather than show you how to do that, we're just going to pick a different ornament. So let's find an ornament, and let's just see. I just think it would be cute to do this in two different ways. Ooh, a snowflake would be great, too. You could just do a snowflake. Didn't even think about that. See, this is the one I was going to use, but this is It's hard to explain, but these are in one piece and it's a little hard to separate. So we're just going to do it this way. Let us see. Oh, look, there it is. But I still want some layers. All right, let me keep looking. Okay, I might be biting off more than I want to chew because let's look at how many layers this is to cut. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these 2 layers are turned off. I definitely want this layer because I'm going to need that little backing to glue everything on. Do I want this layer too? No, don't need that layer. That layer doesn't do anything for us. The basic cut, oh, actually, no, I don't need this layer because look, because I have this one. All right, let's ungroup this guy and see what we actually do have. So we've got this piece, and this piece. Okay, and then there's one back. So it's only 4 pieces. That's not the worst. All right, let's move all those back together. Let me count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not so bad. All right, let's group this guy back together. Let's don't move it. Let's actually click and drag and group it back together. All right, and then let's put it in place and shrink it to size. I don't want it to get too obnoxiously big. I think this will be pretty. Nice. I just like that. I think I'm going to move these guys in a little bit. I'm just going to use the arrows on my keypad. See, I think that'll look good. And again, we're going to place this ourselves. We're not like holding this all together. We're cutting these separate elements. All right. I do not need this piece. I'm not going to ask the Cricut to cut rectangles for me. I'm going to cut those myself. What I want the Cricut to cut is this. Now, here's what's important. If we're making 2 cards, we need these one time, okay, one time each, but I need these twice. So your options are you can go and do this in the next step. You can do this when we get to the next page, or I can just grab these guys and duplicate them, and then I don't even have to think about it when I get over there. Now I've got the J for the wreath, the JY for the wreath, and the JY for the ornament, and we're ready. All right, I've done a lot of work. Let's say save, because I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to call this the Joy card, because I'll know what that is. I'm going to add this to my Joy projects, and I'm going to say save. And now I know I won't lose it as I get going. All right, let's say make it. Now let me show you what's going to happen. First off, I'm not going to be using vinyl on this. I'm going to use cardstock, just whatever I've got. So I'm going to click on a mat and say done. But let's look at our mat situation. Okay, let me show you something. So do you see all these different matte colors I have? And that's because my images are all different colors. I have some options here. I can click on, like I can go to this little guy right here, and I can click on these 3 deals right here, and I can move this object to a different mat and get all my reds on the same mat, etc., etc. Or I can cancel this cut, which I would rather do because this is easier for me. Let me get rid of that grid so y'all can see. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my colors to match each other, okay? So I'm going to come up here to color sync, and I want my reds to be the same red. So I'm just going to do that. See that? I want this green and this green to be the same green. I want this piece to be silver, so I can change it if I want to. I'm not just yet. And I also want my bow to cut the same color as the letters, okay? So I've gone and looked. So I have black, I've got one shade of green and another shade of green. Then I've got the reds the same. This guy I'm going to change to silver, and this guy I'm going to do as gold, okay? So what I want to do is, let's go back to layers. And that piece in particular, I'm going to click on it and change it to silver so I'll know what to put there. So just make it silver. I just think I'm just using glitter that I've got, and I think that'll work. This one's going to be a thing for me. I've got to find a second green. I don't know that I have another color of green glitter, but I'm going to look and see. If I don't, I'll show you a trick to make it happen. Did you guys see me save that? That's important too. Make sure you save before you move on to the next step. Now when we go to make it, let me show you what we get. I'm going to say on a mat because I'm going to do it with my own colors. But look how now everything is more streamlined for me because now I've got my silver mat, my black mat, my gold mat, my one shade of green, my other shade of green, and my other shade of red. And I know everything will be the colors that I have. Okay, so I'm going to say continue. Now, I got to move my Joy over here and wake her up. I always tell y'all she's asleep on the desk, so let me go wake her up real quick so they'll connect. Now you can see my favorite thing is glitter cardstock. It's not just because I'm using glitter cardstock. I always choose glitter cardstock because it will do a double cut without me having to tell it to. Like I won't have to say repeat. This will do a double cut. So I'm going to leave it at glitter cardstock. And now I'm going to get my mat and everything and load this guy up. So here on the Cricut screen, I'm going to click glitter cardstock, and it's going to tell me that I need to load the 5-point blade and load the machine. Now I'm going to cut to the machine here, but the Cricut tells me what to do just like it's doing here every time. So let's go to the machine. So I got my stacks of glitter right here, and I'm going to start with the first piece, and the first piece I'm cutting is the silver piece. So I'm going to take this little guy right here and load this on my mat. I am loving this glitter paper. This is the Sizzix glitter. It is absolutely incredible, y'all. I'm gonna feed this in. Now, here's what I love about the Joy, okay? It's gonna feed in and make sure you have enough material for the project. That's what that just did, okay? Isn't that awesome? We're looking good. And now we're gonna say go, and this is gonna do my first cut. That's the first one. That was so fast. I'm gonna unload that. And now I'm gonna peel this off. This goes into my scrap bin because I love to keep all my glitter scraps. You never know. And then what I like to do is kind of curl my mat to lift that off. You see how easy that came off? Go ahead and take this off. Now I'm gonna go to my next color, which is the black color. So let me click on that, make sure I'm on the right one. Okay. And then I wanna move the machine for some reason. All right, let's get these out of here. And I cut a pretty big piece to do this one. So stick this one down. This is it's not really black, it's kind of gunmetal, but it's absolutely stunning. It's so pretty. All right, let's load this guy in. Now I'm gonna tell it to go. So I'll unload this guy and add the next one. Look how beautiful, so pretty. Again, I'm keeping that scrap. I put it in my scrap bin. I'm gonna pull this away like this. Then I'm gonna grab this one off. Now I'm noticing that this one cut in a bunch of pieces. We'll be fine, we'll just glue it all together. I should have probably just done the offset on here because look, it's so thin. It's so paper thin, but that's okay. We will use it just like that. We don't need these pieces. Now we're gonna do our gold piece. I'll place that one on and let it cut. So you know I told you I had one shade of green, but I didn't have the other shade that I wanted to be able to do the 2 colors of the wreath. Here's a little trick for you. So I've got my green glitter, and then I've got some of this white glitter. It's just, you know, white or cream or whatever you've got. And I've got 3 different alcohol markers. And I'm going to test this and see which one I like the best, which color I want to be the inside. So there's one. And by the way, I keep opening the wrong end. I'm also using the big old, chisel tip. Oh, I think that's the color I want. That looks really good. All right, so let's lay that down there. And then let's see this one. Because it's easier to color big spaces. Ooh, see, that's too close. This one is the one I'm looking for. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take this piece that I'm going to cut this from, and I'm going to color it with this marker in a large enough space for me to cut it out. And it looks like I need about 3 inches. So I'm gonna go a little further down than 3 inches. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go about right here. And I'm just gonna color this page. And this will give me, it doesn't hide the glitter. It doesn't hide anything. It just gives me a second shade of green so I can get that 2-tone without having to have another color of glitter. Sometimes you just don't have exactly the color you wish you had. So we just have to kind of get around it, and this will work just fine. So now it's time for assembly, which is the fun part, right? So let's start with the wreath. I'm gonna move these guys out of the way. I don't want the screen to be too cluttery for you guys. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue. Now let me tell you something I've learned about this art glitter glue and glitter paper. You have to use a little bit more because you want the glue to kind of sink down into the texture of the glitter. So I use a little bit more glitter than I normally, a little bit more glue than I normally would when I'm putting glitter pieces together. I'm also going to use some foam to put this onto the actual card because I'm going to use some metallic paper there. And I think that helps too if we use some of that. So let me get these guys all glued together. And this could take a second, but we're just going to layer everything up just like it was in our picture. And you can always reference the Cricut. Now I'm going to line up here because you can reference Cricut Design Space, I should have said. I'm going to line up at the top because you remember I did that kind of fancy footwork cutting at the bottom where I cut that ribbon out. So I'm going to make sure it lines up at the top and the sides here because my bow will hide a lot of stuff down there. Perfect. See, that works. That little trick with the glitter on the inside worked perfect, right? Changing the color. All right, let's do the bow. Now the bow's going to be a little trickier because there's not a lot of real estate on here. I know you guys are going to tell me in the comments, and yes, you can. You can use the pre-backed paper from Cricut, the pre-adhesive back paper, which would be better for this kind of project that I'm doing now. You can even use, there are some double-sided tapes you can add to your paper before you cut it. There's all different ways to do it. In hindsight, that would have been a good idea for this little tiny piece, but I told y'all I didn't even plan this card until we got started. I didn't even know what was going to happen with this one, so I'm going to get some of the extra glue off of there and let that sit and dry. So let those two pieces sit and we'll put them together in a second. Let's do this ornament. I'm anxious to put it together. All right, let's do a little test run. I think it goes like this. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's start with the red. This I should have made bigger and hung on my tree. This would make a beautiful ornament for trees. If you're going to make an ornament for folks, consider doing this one. It's stunning. All right, so let's line these two up. And because they match exactly, that makes life easy. Except for all the glitter, the glue I'm getting everywhere. No worries, it'll hide. Hey, let's get some of this glue up that I have literally gotten everywhere. All right, let's get to the green. Oh, there's a little piece left in there. I need to get that piece out. Then our last layer of this one, the gold. You guys, how stinking gorgeous is that? The camera does it no justice. I mean, none. It glitters so much it makes it blurry when you look at it. It's absolutely stunning. All right, let's put our bow onto this little guy. I think I'll just add some glue here and here. And then lay that on there. I love all the glitter on here. So pretty. Y'all know I'm not a huge glitter fan when it's loose. I don't mind it when it stays in place like this. All right, let's assemble the cards. Now, this is the part I do by hand. I don't see any reason to put this into the machine and have it cut it for me. I just do this one myself. So this piece is 8.5. I want to score it at 4 1/4 because remember we're making these landscape cards so they'll be going sideways. And I'm using some Not Your Mama's. I wanted this. I felt like the glitter deserved this rich cardstock. Now, I'm not going to fold these in half yet. The reason is I'm going to stamp them. And I want to do that with them good and flat. So I'm just going to score them. And notice I'm scoring both sides. When I'm using Not Your Mama's cardstock, which is really super thick, I score both sides so I get a really pretty turn. All right, so put that there. Now let's do some stamping. Now, I don't know who these cards are going to go to. And sometimes I won't even do the inside. Sometimes I'll save the inside for when I'm going to actually give these away to somebody. But for these, I have this stamp set that is so pretty. I'll show you. It's called Christmas Miracle. It is this guy, and I just think this is a great one. I'm going to use this sentiment right here at the bottom and put that on the inside, and no matter who I give it to, it'll be appropriate. Put this inside. And I put this on a press so I could line it up. Press that down like so. Now, you could totally have used the joy and written inside of here if you wanted to. But I like to mix my joy with my stamps. I've got the stamps. I love some of these sentiments we've written over the years. Why not use them, right? I love that. So I'm going to mix it up this way. Because just because you might think, oh, I have all those stamps, I can't get a joy. There's no need for it. But you never know. What I like the writing of the joy for is when I need to be personal. Like I want to say somebody's name or something just for a person. With this, I can just mix my stamps and use them any old way, and it works. All right, let's assemble these guys. Okay, I'm gonna fold this over now and crease it. Line up that side. Bone folder here. All right, and this is thick cardstock. If you don't know, Not Your Mama's is like 130 pounds. It's a lot. All right, so this is that gold metallic paper I was telling you about. Isn't that beautiful? I like playing with these metallics and things. So I'm gonna run some glue just like this. I'm keeping my glue at the very edge. Let me tell you why. I found that on some of my projects with this metallic paper, I can see the glue through it. So rather than do that whole run through the middle and go a little wacky with it, I'm just gonna glue it on the edges like that, and it'll be fine. So I'm gonna place this down, get it centered nice and even, or as best I can. Then I won't have all of those squiggly lines in the middle. The metallic paper can do that. I think the reason, like people ask me sometimes why that happens, and here's my hypothesis, seriously, it's just a guess. But because this metallic is paper backed, when you get the paper wet, it kind of shows through. That's all I can think. That's what I think it is. All right, I want a J and I want a Y. Look how playing with the metallics and the glitter, so Christmas, right? Let's bring our wreath over. Oh, it's gonna be so pretty. All the glitters and all the metallics are just stunning on there. Okay, let's do some popping up. Now I gotta tell you something. I'm really sad because I'm looking in the camera and you're not seeing it nearly as vibrantly as I am. It is so gorgeous, but the camera kind of knocks back the shine a little bit. Maybe I can get it good in the thumbnail. Hopefully I can, so you can see how great it looks. But the metallics really play together well. All right, I'm popping these up on some foam. Now I think I will place the wreath first. I may be being brave with this one, we'll see. I do wish y'all could see all the sparkling, all the shine. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, so I'm gonna place my wreath in the middle. Again, eyeballing it, doing as best I can. Might need to come to the side a little bit. Over here a tiny bit. Oh, and popping it up even helps. Oh, so nice. All right, let's do the J. And I think I want it to kind of line up at the top of the wreath. Something like that. Oh, I'm crooked. Got to straighten that one out. Still a bit crooked. There we go. That's better. All right, and then I'm going to do the Y. Okay, so there's the Joy one. Not my favorite. I did a really poor job lining it up, but we're going to let that ride. I don't think anybody's going to notice by the time they see all the glitter. Let's see if we can line the other one up better. It'll make me happier. Let's try it. I said that was the Joy one. It's the first one. Let's do the second one. It'll probably be easier because I have the ornament. I'm going to do something a little different on this one. I haven't used these in card making before. We use these 3D dots in our store all the time for different things, and I've not used them in card making, but I think they will be really good for this. On that metallic paper, they are super sticky. I'm not going to put too many on, and I'm going to have to mix them with a piece of foam in some places because like these are going to be too big for that little piece. But I wanted to try these today. One thing I really like about the 3D, if you've never used the 3D foam, or these are 3D dots, if you've never used these, one thing that's really cool about them is if you put them on a project, like if you're sending something overseas or something and it gets squished, it really won't stay squished because they're like a little kind of gelatinous material. I don't know how to describe them. They're just a gooey kind of, you can flatten them and they'll kind of pop back up. So that's kind of cool. Let me put a little piece up here of just some foam. And then I'm going to attempt to put this on the card better. So you'll probably get me doing that with music. So there you go, guys. These are my 2 cards. I'm not in love with this one. It's not my favorite. I'm loving this one. I would let this be my Christmas card. Do you see how that looks like glitter? It is not glitter. It's a brushed metallic, and it's so beautiful, the kind of tone on tone. Love this. I think this ornament is absolutely gorgeous. I think I would even maybe possibly do this where I put this ornament on with a magnet so it could be removed and hung on the tree. It's that pretty with all the glitter. Not loving this one. I messed it up when I was trying to fix the J. I did some little divots in here, and I don't love it. I can't quite fix it, but I'm not against it. I would still send it. That also lets me know that this gold paper in itself might get kind of damaged in the mail, because you know a lot of times things can get punctured or pressed on, or when it runs through the machine it can do that. So just think about that. You might rather use something like this that's got a little texture on it. Love these. Now I do want to tell you this. I'm going through something right now, and that is my eye doctor is trying where I'm not wearing a contact in one eye and I am wearing a contact in another, and it is really causing me some lining up issues. So next time I made this, I would make sure I had something to help me line these up evenly and to get them separated across, because I just went, oh, I'll do this like I always did it, but it's not working with my new contact situation. So I'll get used to that over time. It's still very fresh and my eyes are still adjusting, but I did struggle lining these up. So next time I'd probably make myself a piece of cardstock to run across here and make sure I line everything up just right. Separating apart is fine, but they're not quite straight enough for me. But there you go, guys. Now listen, this is the last in our Joy of Christmas collaboration between me and Melody. She's got a video up for you guys to watch today as well. Please be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. Melody just hit 200,000 subscribers, which is super exciting, but it'd be so great if she could get to 300. I'm trying to get to 300,000 subscribers, so I'd love it if you click the subscribe button. And I want to take just a second to tell you something. It does not cost a thing to subscribe. It just lets YouTube know you enjoy our videos and you want to see more of them. And another thing you can do is there's a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. If you'll click that little bell, you can tell YouTube to send you notifications for when we open or whenever we upload a video. So you'll get notified when Melody and I are uploading videos. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Now, I want to see what you're making with your joy. You can share it with me on my Discord. Lots of folks over there chatting it up, having a good time. Or you can share it with me on my customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com. Don't forget, we'll have the links to all the supplies for these projects in the description below. Thanks so much. And until next time, Merry Christmas, guys. Bye now.